Hope all of you are having a great weekend. We are back with more Nintendo Switch 2 Nintendo Direct predictions. And with last week, I was not expecting there to be a Nintendo Direct. I don't think any of us were. So initially, I planned on this stream airing on Wednesday, or it was actually, it was supposed to be Wednesday, but that was for Nintendo Direct predictions. And now, since everything is settled, it's finally time for some 3D Mario predictions. We got Super Sarfy 2002 in the chat. T&D with the most intelligent comment I've seen all day. Soshi, J-To the P Moreno. Already, pretty good turnout, and it hasn't even been 41 seconds.
Yeah.
And I'm joined by the Paper Mario guy and some guy who clearly doesn't like Nintendo.
Yep.
Clearly.
Super Starfy 2002, that's like asking if any of us can breathe. I mean, at the moment, yes, we're all excited for the Nintendo Switch 2 Nintendo Direct. I can't think of a single Nintendo fan who wouldn't be, outside of someone who maybe got a Switch for Christmas, and then they don't want the successor right away because they just got a Switch, but come on, bro, at that point, it's been almost a decade.
I'm debating on whether or not I should take Tuesday off, because I know if I work that day, for some reason, it's at 10 a.m. Eastern, right?
The Direct isn't
I
on
think
Tuesday.
It's 9 a.m.
It's on Wednesday.
Oh,
Or no,
9 a.m.
it's Wednesday, yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be rough. Cause then, like, everything's gonna, like, pop up on my feed, and, like, I gotta figure out how I'm gonna do that.
Reese, thanks for the
beach
first super chat. This super chat goal is actually something very out of the ordinary for me. I'm really interested in getting Xenoblade Chronicles X. It looks like a game that I actually want to play. It's not connected to any of the other Xenoblade games, so this one seems like the perfect one for me to get into. And considering that I primarily play Mario games and games that are similar, I want to try something new. So help a gator out. Super chat goal, we're already at 1 out of 10. And yeah, I'm hoping that I can get Xenoblade Chronicles X. But the game we're playing today is Bowser's Fury, because that was the last 3D Mario game. I think at this point most Nintendo fans consider Bowser's Fury to be its own kind of 3D Mario game. And while it's a part of Super Mario 3D World, it's different enough. It kind of feels like New Super Luigi U, where that was kind of a game within a game. It was DLC, sure, but even so, it was pretty much its own game, and the same applies to Bowser's Fury.
I mean, Bowser's Fury had way more effort put into it than Luigi U.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but you get my point.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like similar in the sense where it uses like the same engine and gameplay and things. But yeah, I think Bowser's Fury might like possibly be like at least in a little bit of a way kind of a blueprint for the next 3D Mario game. I think they're definitely going to take some elements from Bowser's Fury. Like, I think what I'm hoping is that there will be like some Bowser's Fury style worlds. Like, maybe not one huge open world, but like multiple semi-open worlds, kind of like Bowser's Fury.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. I could definitely see that. The only, like, Reese, I was talking to you about this before. The only flaw I have with Bowser's Fury is just the way it controls. Like, it's clearly the controls from 3D World, and, like, you could tell, but man, can you imagine this game with Odyssey style controls?
Yeah, I definitely think I think it's definitely more likely that with the next 3D Mario game they'll use like more Odyssey style controls than 3D World, because 3D World was specifically designed for like a smaller area to kind of replicate 2D Mario. So
yeah.
I definitely think they're gonna design the controls more like Odysseys.
Yeah, the thing about Bowser's Fury is it's the most open 3D Mario game. But considering it's running in a similar engine to 3D World, the controls, I don't have that big of a problem with the controls. Really, it's just holding the Y button to run faster, but even if you don't do that, you run fast enough as is. But I will say, the controls in a game like Odyssey or even Super Mario Sunshine are way better. That is probably the direction they're gonna go with 3D Mario in terms of controls, where it's definitely more like Odyssey. Or even Sunshine. Those two games are very similar when it comes to controls.
Yeah, like I think there's going to be some things like not having a run button. Like the triple jump will probably be there. Different things like that.
I want Mario to. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say I don't think the triple jump is in 3D World or Bowser's Fury.
No, it's
which
not.
is one of my flaws. Yeah, it's one of my flaws with the controls of the game. So I think I definitely think they're gonna add, since it was in Odyssey, it's probably gonna be in
Why is
in
Mario
the next one.
so miffed in this? Like, usually he seems like so happy, but look at him. Okay, now he's happy.
Because it's Bowser. Because it's Bowser Jr.
It doesn't matter. It's still
enemy.
Funny.
Yeah.
He's annoyed at him. I'd be annoyed at this little.
Honestly, kind of reminds me of how Mario acts in the Paper Mario games sometimes. Of course, I mentioned that. But yeah, he's kind of more like emotes a lot in like especially like Thousand Year Door, I would say.
Well, he was definitely expressive in Super Mario Odyssey. Most expressive he's been was in Wonder. We'll have to see how he is in the new Mario Kart. But unless you see the characters a lot, you're driving the kart where you're just looking from behind, and it's hard to see what the characters are doing unless they're tricking or doing stuff like that. But maybe that'll change. Maybe the characters will have more life to them, kind of like they do in Mario Kart Arcade Grand Prix.
I think we're starting to see that the next gen Mario games are starting to have more influence from the 2D artwork in terms of their art design.
Oh, definitely.
And also in Mario Kart, like there are like a few instances where you like see like characters from like the front, like either if you're like looking from behind, or you're also like in battle mode, you drive past like other players and you see them from the front. So I think that Nintendo kind of thinking about that a little bit.
Yes, but also not to the extent where you see much of them. I mean, in Mario Kart 8, for example, you see that Mario has mustache physics, as do Wario, Luigi, and Waluigi. But I'm expecting it to be more open, or not more open, more expressive, all the characters. The cats are so cute in this game.
I did want to say, how much money do we want to bet that the whole Direct leaks a day before?
That it'll leak a day before?
Just like somebody on 4chan will tell us exactly what's going to be in the Direct.
That actually happened with the first Nintendo Switch Direct. It's just not common knowledge because it wasn't a leak that got any traction.
Well, you definitely knew about it because you told me that morning, oh man, I really like the Honda Odyssey. It's such a great car.
It wasn't the morning, it was the evening. That actually aired.
Whatever it was.
That Nintendo presentation aired at midnight, or very close to it. It was very late, I remember that. Do you remember anything about the Switch 1 presentation?
I remember, I remember Odyssey's... Oh, go ahead, Reese.
I reacted to the funny thing is, I did a reaction of the Odyssey announcement after I already watched it, because I just thought it was funny. I was like, oh yeah, I should do a reaction to it. That was before I really did, like, reaction video. Like, it was like 2018 is when I really started doing like streams and like reacting to stuff. But like then I was like, oh, it would be funny if I did a if I watched the Odyssey trailer and like talked about it and things. And so it was technically the first reaction video on my channel, but it wasn't really a reaction since it was like the second time that I watched it, because the first time I watched it was like when I was actually watching the presentation then. So
I will say, because it was so late, everyone was sleeping, and it was so hard keeping my composure that entire time, because that Odyssey reveal, I had so many emotions. Just like I'm one of those people who did not like 3D World initially. You know, I wanted a sandbox 3D Mario, so to see it finally come into fruition and have it be like so fresh and new, you have to remember that this was during a time where Mario was very like sterile and just like playing
we're
by
all
the
well
book.
aware of that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so
yeah. Even though I liked 3D World. I like during the Wii U era, I did like really like 3D World, but I was like always hoping, like since I did grow up with 64 DS, I was always hoping for like a sandbox 3D Mario game, like a
Right.
new one. So
Right.
I was really excited with when Odyssey was announced.
Holy cow! Classic Dimitri is in the building. Dimitri, it must be you from years ago. Wow.
Oh,
Wow.
and I like that they used the old design too.
Where do you find that? Like, I'm assuming it would be from an old community post or something.
Dimitri Generations.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
it's
something
probably
you
an
don't
old
need.
fan. It's probably an old fan, so they might have had that
This controller has some
somewhere.
intense rumble.
Yeah, I do wonder. I want to see the games that they reveal with like mouse functionality because I'm sure there's gonna be one. I'm sure there's gonna be a new IP that utilizes it, or
Do you
maybe
actually
it'll
think the
just be
mouse
Mario Maker.
functionality is going to be a big deal?
I think they're gonna try and make it a big deal, and then like it won't be a big deal after a while.
It just seems like the next thing, like the Wii Remote speaker or the IR camera, that's a feature that they add, but then they never use it.
I don't think it's
Yeah.
gonna be. I don't think it's gonna be as obscure as like the IR motion camera. I think it's gonna be more like how gyro is on the Switch, where it's used like
Yeah.
sometimes, like in like Breath of the Wild, Splatoon,
It'll
stuff
be
like
more
that.
of an
Like
in-between, I think. Something not quite like the gyro, where that's kind of integral to a lot of Switch games. It'll be integral to some, but I can't see it being this big feature like motion controls were on the Wii or dual screens on the DS.
I don't.
It's
I don't
not
know.
that
They
big of a
highlighted
deal.
it pretty. They highlighted it pretty prominently in the teaser. I would say. I think it does have an important presence, but I think like Reese said, it's just going to be another control option.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty much what it's
Yeah,
going to be. Like, let's say they release
think I
Pikmin
mentioned-
5. You could use the mouse control for that. They might even update some of the Pikmin games to have mouse controls. At this point, I
Yeah,
think they would
I think
focus on Super Mario Maker 3
Sure.
rather than going back to 2. That'll probably have
I was
mouse
gonna say-
control.
That game's
I was
been
gonna
dead for
say-
years.
I was gonna say, I think like for the mouse controls, I think like a lot of games will have some control options that you could like switch between like mouse controls or the analog stick or gyro, and that's kind of how I think it will be.
I definitely see Tomodachi Life using the mouse pretty effortlessly.
Yeah.
I don't think the new 3D
but
Mario
yeah,
would
it-
use the mouse extensively. That just doesn't make sense. Because for this
I
mouse,
think-
you have
well-
to keep in mind, if you're playing on the TV, you would have to use the Joy-Con on your lap, unless you have like a little thing on your chair that acts as a table. But considering that's a very specific situation, it's not something I could really see highlighted. Because,
You
really,
know-
let's be real, the most useful way to play using the mouse would be in tabletop mode. Because if you're playing on the computer, you have a desk and your monitors there. So, it makes sense for tabletop. And considering how specific it would be for tabletop mode, that's why I don't think this mouse functionality is going to be as big of a deal as people think. They're not going to center the next 3D Mario around the functionality of the mouse. It might have some
I don't think it's gonna.
options for it.
I don't think it's gonna be centered around it, but I do think certain mechanics are going to be utilized with the mouse mechanic, and I think whatever that is going to fit in with the theme of the game, which has me now thinking, what could they possibly use the mouse for a 3D Mario game? And the only thing that comes to mind is like a pointer from Mario Galaxy, so Galaxy 3.
That could be it, but also, yeah, with the mouse control, if you look at something like Odyssey or Nintendo's recent games, they're designed to be played with any controller, quite literally. This one I'm using is the Beitong KP40, and they don't do the controller-specific games like they used to on the Wii. Because with a game like Super Mario Galaxy, they really wanted you to play it with just the one control option, being the Wii Remote and Nunchuck. But nowadays, they design pretty much every game to also be compatible with the Switch Pro controller, unless it's something specifically designed for motion controls like WarioWare Move It or Nintendo Switch Sports.
J to the P, that's one of my hopes and dreams. What I want to see the most in a new 3D Mario is Dog Mario.
Do you think they're going to bring back power-ups, or you think they'll have captures and such?
I do think they're going to bring back power-ups a la 3D World.
Thank you, Marcus, for the donation. That was very kind of you. It's going to be nice being a part of the Xenoblade squad. Very excited to get the game. Which is surprising considering that I mostly play Mario games. Actually, I only like Mario games.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, according to your critics, you're a JRPG hater.
Right.
Yeah, that's what they say. So that must be true.
So
well, obviously, they know what they're talking about.
two franchises I want to talk about is Kid Icarus. I think that would be amazing with a mouse. But also, could we see a revival for Duck Hunt using the mouse?
Duck Hunt is just not the same without a zapper. If you're just pointing the mouse, it'll be fun for a while, but it doesn't have that satisfying gimmick that the original did. Using the zapper.
I don't know. I think they could do something with that. I don't know. I struggle to talk about the new 3D Mario because it's so up in the air and it's been almost another decade since the last one, not counting Bowser's Fury. I don't know really what to expect. I just hope it's sandbox related.
How would you say that how would you say the wait for the next 3D Mario has been? Because we've talked about the wait for Mario Kart 9 and how that was unbearable, and we'd never want Nintendo to do something similar to that. But I will say with Mario Kart, or 3D Mario compared to Mario Kart, and also 2D Mario, because we got Wonder 11 years after New Super Mario Bros. U, it doesn't feel as long. Bowser's Fury definitely did satisfy the craving for a new 3D Mario. Like, Odyssey 2 is one of my most wanted Switch games. But after we got Bowser's Fury, I still did want it, but at the same time, it's just like, okay, this held me over quite well. Just like how Super Mario Maker 2 did for 2D Mario until we got Wonder.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like the wait definitely didn't feel as long as the Mario Kart wait did.
We were also getting a lot of Mario content in terms of platformers, whether or not you like 3D All-Stars or not. We did get that. Mario Maker 2, Bowser's Fury, Mario Wonder. So it's not like we were craving more Mario content.
Well, Mario Kart, I will
say I was gonna say T&D 3D All-Stars? What's that? What's that? The celebration's over.
Right.
You can't acknowledge that game.
That never happened, apparently. Just like Galaxy
the celebration is over. You know how Nintendo said it's a celebration, so the games have to go away after the celebration ends?
Yeah.
Oh, that was so stupid.
How
was that almost 5 years ago?
Speaking of crappy ports, I'm really surprised we never got Twilight Princess and Wind Waker HD for the Switch.
My feeling is that the wait for the next Zelda is going to be longer than usual, considering that Tears of the Kingdom was still fairly recent, so they're probably going to release those to hold fans over on the Switch too. It might be a Switch 2 Edition game that'll also work on the regular Switch, but they'll just have them to fill out the gap just in case. That's probably why.
I think we could actually... I actually think we might get I actually think the wait for the next Zelda game might be a little shorter than Tears of the Kingdom. I know Tears of the Kingdom used the same world with a couple additions and things, but I think that was delayed partially due to the pandemic and things. So, I think it would also make sense to release a new Zelda game the year that the movie comes out, because we recently got the announcement that the movie will release
2027.
in 2027. Yeah, so I think the next Zelda game is probably going to release then. So, I mean, maybe next year we'll get the remasters.
If that's the case, I do see them going smaller with the next 3D Zelda, because I I don't see how much bigger you could go from Tears of the Kingdom without it feeling bloated. Um, I don't know, thoughts, Reese? Because like I feel like there's been a lot of complaints with 3D Zelda, um, in the way that like there's no more like proper dungeons, like it doesn't feel like a traditional 3D Zelda anymore. Do you think we're gonna go back to basics with the next 3D Zelda and have
I
something a little
can't
bit
really
more
see that,
streamlined?
to be real with you.
Well, I actually think it might be like a mixture like of like the Breath of the Wild Tears of the Kingdom formula in like traditional Zelda, where they do have like traditional dungeons and a lot of those traditional Zelda elements, but it still does have that degree of like exploration in like big worlds and different things like that. And I guess maybe resource management on top of that. So I think there might be like a similar like style of world, but like the gameplay and dungeons and things will feel more like traditional Zelda. There might be like a balance
Yeah.
between.
I just like my thing is more so like I don't see them going bigger than Tears of the Kingdom. I think realistically, I mean they can, but I feel like the next one has to be at least a little bit more streamlined.
4K, more power, grander scopes. They definitely got a good formula for the next Zelda. Even if they did something similar to Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild, they have 4K, they
I
have
don't
more
know.
power, there's a lot more you can do with it.
It
It's
doesn't
kind of like the
necessarily mean you
idea
have
with
to go
Mario
bigger.
Kart. I mean, before Mario Kart Tour, people were saying, what more could you possibly do with Mario Kart? And then we saw that Tour introduce a lot of concepts that we wouldn't initially expect. And there's a lot more you can do with the series like that.
Yeah, but in terms of Zelda, I definitely feel that there's a bit of fatigue in terms of open world style games, especially with Zelda. There was, I mean, most people like Tears of the Kingdom, but there was a lot of backlash with Tears of the Kingdom too. So I'm hesitant to say that it's going to be like fully open world, like Tears of the Kingdom or Breath of the Wild was. I'm sure there's going to be elements of that, but I do think they're going to listen to the criticism and try to go back to like some more traditional elements too.
That would be a good idea.
Yeah.
Or not. I don't know.
Actually, Will Gaming brought up a good point. Imagine an open world Toon Link game. That would be really
Ooh,
cool.
that would be cool. We haven't gotten. I do wonder if this will be the era where we get another Toon Link game.
That would be really nice. I feel like
Uh,
it's been long overdue, for like a Toon Link style game. I feel like Toon Link has kind
ooh,
of been out. Like I feel like Toon Link has been kind of like kind of dormant for a while. Like we really haven't seen we've seen the toy Link with Link's Awakening, but we
right.
haven't seen we haven't seen like Toon Link in quite a while. I think like the last like new thing was like Triforce
Wind Waker.
Heroes on the 3DS.
Oh, that's true. I do wonder. Um, I wonder, right, with the Switch 2's mouse compatibility, you think we'll get like, for example, Phantom Hourglass or Spirit Tracks remasters?
Hmm. Actually, that makes a lot of sense. Like I did mention before that the mouse could be like a substitute for like touchscreen controls in dock mode. So I do think that might be a possibility.
Because they're games that like, I personally have never played the games, but like I know a lot of friends who played the games and they say that they're like classics to them, but like a lot of Zelda fans are not like privy to it. They're interesting Zelda games. Um, and I feel like we don't have access to them at the moment. I feel like those would be some really interesting titles to like remaster.
Eventually, yeah.
Yeah.
But with the Switch 2 being a new system,
So,
they're probably going to focus on mostly new games starting off the system. And also, they don't have a failed console to rely on porting games from anymore. They can't really do something like Mario
yeah,
Kart 8 Deluxe anymore.
I do feel like we need some form of Zelda present, though, whether that's a port or like that's a new 2D Zelda, which I don't really see a new 2D Zelda happening anytime soon because of Echoes of Wisdom.
Did Echoes of Wisdom
Um,
do well?
Actually, Echoes of Wisdom sold fairly well. I think it sold about like 3 million. But I was thinking like for like a new Zelda thing on Switch 2, I think like within the first year, I'm thinking like we might actually another possibility is like a full remake rather than like bringing the Wii U versions of the remasters over. I'm thinking like
oh
it would
wow.
make a lot of sense to do something like maybe a Ocarina of Time or Majora's Mask remake. I think that would be pretty cool. Like just a full remake, not just like a enhanced version of it like we've gotten before, like on the 3DS, but like an actual like
What
from the
happened,
ground up
Matthew Gaming?
remake.
He said he's not feeling welcome here. I'm not sure why.
What's happening?
Yeah, Matthew Gaming was just saying he doesn't feel welcome. I'm not sure if it was a reference to something, but in terms of like reading the chat, definitely make sure to take a look at it.
Okay.
I don't see anything.
But I mean, Matthew Gaming, of course you're welcome here.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a
dude.
stream. It's supposed to be about the community.
Unless people
I'm
are bullying in
I'm-
the comments.
I'm not seeing any bullying or anything.
There's some like strange person there called Melissa in the chat.
Hey, Melissa.
I don't know. You know who
T&D,
that
you're
is?
the more strange one.
No, I'm just joking. God. Hi, Melissa.
This is the Bloonies guy.
No. Melissa, can you
Yep.
can you attest to the fact that he smells like a swamp?
Well,
Also,
T&D
I
is enjoying his
I was
Bloonies. I did
I
one...
was gonna say like a couple days ago, or well, when we did the last stream, I was saying that T&D, you're ungrateful that you got those bloonies from Demich.
He is
got free
I'm
ungrateful.
bloonies.
ungrateful.
He's
I'm
very
ungrateful.
ungrateful. I got him for him
You got-
specifically
Yeah,
for him to be happy.
you got free
I wasn't happy.
microplastic.
He lied to me, saying that he didn't get it. So why would I be grateful for something he doesn't even take credit for?
You ever heard of a surprise party? It wouldn't be a surprise
That was
if
not.
you knew about it.
It was not a surprise.
It was.
It was not.
I'm hopeful, but I 100% bet we're getting a new 3D Mario game. I mean, it's been only, what, 8 years? It's about time.
Bloony Mario.
Bloony Mario would be like Bubble Mario from Mario Wonder.
Yeah.
I do wonder if we're ever going to see Galaxy 2 make it onto Switch 2, because
They have
The
to
em- the
rework the
emission
way
from-
the pointer controls for Yoshi work. So there's more effort required than something like
Mouse.
Galaxy 1.
The mouse. The mouse.
the mouse. See, the mouse is more versatile than you think.
Mouse and touchscreen controls. But what if you want to use a Pro controller?
Yeah.
I guess there could be some cursor aiming.
I mean, maybe if
You
you
could do
like,
that.
maybe they'll have like some option if you like use the Pro controller, and then you could also like use the mouse on the side or something. It might be a bit awkward, but they might like allow for those control options.
Oh, that was not good timing right there. I almost got it,
Yeah,
but Bowser
Melissa,
leaves.
it was a prank.
Also, wait, I was gonna say the Pro controller for the Switch 2 has like a patent that you'll be able to split it apart and use both of
Oh.
them like a mouse, kind of like how you can kind of split apart the Joy-Cons.
Oh, so it's
Well,
like monkey bread, pull
well.
it apart?
Well, it looks like the mouse might be more important than you think, Demeach.
I don't know. I'm just thinking about playing a game with the mouse, and I don't want to play a Switch game using the mouse on my leg or on the chair. I need a mouse pad for that.
I think
Or just a
it could
flat
be
surface.
cool. I don't think it's gonna be as complicated as you think it is.
Not complicated, just uncomfortable.
I don't know. I don't feel like it's gonna be as clunky as people think it is.
I mean, I
There's a
usually play
possibility we
Switch
could
games
see
sitting at
Galaxy
my.
2.
I usually play Switch games sitting at my desk, so I feel like the mouse controls are kind of perfect for me.
Yeah, I don't know. This guy likes to sit on his big comfy couch.
Just like Harmon Smith.
Like Harmon Smith.
Yeah, he likes to wear a leather jacket with it too.
This is another prediction. I don't think they're going to bring back 3D All-Stars. That was really just like a one-time thing to fill out a lineup of games where there wasn't much going on that year. For obvious circumstances. It really just comes down to what is Nintendo going to do for Virtual Console?
I think more importantly, what is Nintendo going to do for the 40th anniversary of Super Mario Brothers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, what are they going to do for it? I mean, my prediction, since Wonder just came out, and we need a 2D Mario premiere on the Switch, I think we're going to get a full-on remake of Super Mario Brothers 3.
That is ridiculous.
I was gonna say, I think we should get a remake of New Super Mario Bros. DS, but with a unique art style. Because I think it would be cool. Like, I think that would be cool if they did a remake of that, but like had the mini games with like mouse controls. Instead of touchscreen controls.
You guys really love the mouse controls. You guys are like cats because you love mice so much.
I was gonna say a remake of both. This might be a little more unlikely because we're getting 3D Mario, but I was gonna say like a remake of both New Super Mario Bros. DS and 64 DS, because both games are kind of similar, like use similar engines on the DS.
I think maybe your idea, but it's a bundle. It's New Super Mario Brothers 1, Wii, and 2.
I mean, that'd be cool. I'd be down for it, especially considering that New Super Mario Bros. 2 has the DLC levels. Alright, I did want to ask, that MF who just be doing, I see you're a moderator, but the username I don't recognize. What was your username before?
Who is that?
I'm not sure. I kind of feel like with this stream we've talked more about the mouse than 3D Mario itself. But in terms of 3D Mario, any of us agree that Odyssey 2 is still likely? We talked about it a little bit the last stream.
I don't think it's likely, but I still think there's a very slim chance of it happening. Like if they do something like, if it's not just if it's not very iterative, like from Galaxy 1 to Galaxy 2 or 3D Land to 3D World, and is more of a jump, like it still does have like Odyssey style gameplay with the captures and things, but then they change it and have like Bowser's Fury style worlds, like a different theming, like time travel, and maybe even that idea that I had calling it like Super Mario Iliad, since it's the prequel and it would be going back in time. That would be cool if they treat an Odyssey sequel like that, and I feel like that's the only way they could do an Odyssey sequel now, if they do something like big, like a big change from Odyssey, rather than just like more of a iterative upgrade. So
we really got to see what the Nintendo Switch 2's library will be, because we're gonna finally find out more about it in a few days. So what that means is we're gonna get a look at what the vibe of the Switch 2 library is going to be. Because with the Switch, there were like, or actually we'll start with the Wii U, because that one only had one. Oh, Soshi, thank you for the super chat. We are at 3 out of 10 super chats to help me get Xenoblade Chronicles X. So feel free to super chat. But Soshi, do you want the Koopalings back like I do? Well, considering we saw the alternative in Mario Wonder, yes, bring them back. It's also been a long time since the Koopalings were in games. People started to get tired of them in 2016, but the thing is, 2016 was almost a decade ago. We could definitely have them return. No problem there. I'd be excited to see them come back.
I do think it's like very likely that the new 3D Mario is in the vein of a sandbox 3D Mario, but it's going to be its own thing completely.
Now with Odyssey 2, the reason why I bring it up, and I was bringing up the vibe of the Wii U, if you look at the Wii U's library, they can be defined, most of the games. There are safe sequels to Wii and 3DS games. You look at stuff like Super Mario 3D World and Mario Party 10. Although that game's horrible. Super Mario 3D World is excellent.
Yeah.
Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze. Just a lot of the library felt very safe, like they were trying to replicate
Paper Mario.
what was successful already on the Wii and the 3DS.
Paper Mario Color Splash as well, basically being Sticker Star 2.
Great example there. Now with the Switch,
Oh,
it actually does go back to launch in 2017. The Switch is known for having very creative, very experimental games. A lot of them weren't sequels to anything, like Super Mario Odyssey, for example, or even Super Mario Bros. Wonder. I feel like the Switch really got its own flavor and vibes starting in 2023. We saw a glimpse of that in 2021 with a lot of series returning like 2D Metroid, WarioWare, Advance Wars, stuff like that. Now for the Switch 2, it all comes down to what these games are going to be like. Let's just say that Mario Kart is indeed Mario Kart 9, and the 3D Mario is Super Mario Odyssey 2. Then it would seem like they're going a very safe direction, making sequels to games that already succeeded. They could still make them creative.
But Mario Kart 9 is going to be Mario Kart 9 regardless.
Yeah, we've already seen that game at least is going to be something like bigger and kind of a newer thing. But I feel like that's probably because it's been so long since we've gotten the last fully new Mario Kart game.
I don't think anything's going to be iterative, but I think that Odyssey 2 still has a chance. Because Switch 2, I mean, that's not a very Nintendo console. It's a direct sequel to the Switch. Wouldn't they do something gimmicky like the 3DS from the DS or Wii U to Wii? It's a different era.
I just feel like Odyssey 2 is too safe.
Well, I'm just throwing that prediction out there because the Switch 2 itself is a very safe console. You can't get more safe than the Nintendo Switch 2. It literally can't get any safer than that.
Well, after the Wii U, I mean...
I mean, I don't blame Nintendo at all. Now, with the Wii U, the games weren't really the problem. People just didn't know what it was.
Yeah, but people just thought it was a controller.
And I will say, even with the games, though, the good games on the Wii U, for the most part, did not come anywhere as close as the good games on the Switch. Like, you look at something like... Or I'm just trying to think of a Wii U game that is really good, but not as good as something on the Switch. I guess Super Mario 3D World Odyssey would be a good example, but also I love Super Mario 3D World for what it is, and it's a very different kind of game. It's a little hard to explain. Just like seeing the entries that we got. Something like New Super Mario Bros. U on the Wii U, and then we got Wonder on the Switch. Sure, it took a long time to get it, but damn, that is what you call a new 2D Mario game.
I just want to see an evolution rather than an iteration of 3D Mario. Like, if we get Odyssey 2, it's going to be an iteration of what's come before. And, like, yeah, I still want sandbox 3D Mario gameplay, but I want to see how far they can go with it. I mean, I do think Bowser's Fury was a taste of, like, what is to come. And to me, I just feel like something new would be more exciting and something more that Nintendo would do. I just think Odyssey 2's time has passed.
I think that it's probably going to be something new. I still think the possibility for Odyssey 2 is there. Because if this was just before knowing what the Switch 2 actually was, I would have said there's no chance for Odyssey 2. But now we got a general idea, and I'm just willing to throw that out there. But in terms of what I think this next 3D Mario game is going to be, I have a feeling it's going to be very similar to Bowser's Fury in terms of scope and gameplay, but it will have multiple areas rather than just Lake Lapcat. And I think visually it's going to be way more impressive.
I can't wait to see what art style they go with.
It'd be interesting to see if the Wonder designs are the new designs going forward, or they're just for stuff like Mario Kart and Super Mario Bros. Wonder. Although, considering it's Mario Kart and it has this art direction, I have a feeling that these are the new designs for the characters.
Yeah, I kind of have a feeling they're probably going to do it for, like... Because it seems like just in general, like, not just between Mario Wonder and Mario Kart, but, like, the rest of the like the rest of the franchise as well, like recently seems to be more like kind of embracing like either newer designs or kind of like classic designs again. Like we've seen like with all the remakes recently, with the RPGs, they basically use like rather than changing them like the Mario and Luigi remakes did on the 3DS,
Right.
they stayed faithful and kind of modernized them a little bit. So and then also just in general, it seems like they've been like the characters are just like more cartoony and expressive, kind of more akin to like a lot of older Mario depictions. So I just think these will we'll probably get like a Wonder-esque design in a new 3D Mario game and more of like kind of classic Mario-esque designs. I wanted to mention one thing other than 3D Mario, but it's actually a thing that I mentioned in the Dream Game video that I did a few days ago. But with Luigi's Mansion, I have a feeling for like whatever new Luigi's Mansion game we get, they're gonna bring back Luigi's old N64 era-esque design and kind of modernize it. I think they might do something like that for that.
I'm not sure if that's a good idea because I like the modern design more. I do have a prediction for Luigi's Mansion though. It's gonna take place in an abandoned hospital. And the main villain, or King Boo, is actually going to be a CEO.
Anyways, what's probably going to happen is that Luigi's probably going to go into a spiritual realm.
A scary go-round?
Spiritual realm.
I was thinking something like a cruise ship.
My idea was like an abandoned town that has like a few different locations, like a mall or like a bowling alley, a school, stuff like that. And you go like, it's like interconnected. It's not like a huge open world, but like everything's connected in like the same world. But you still have like different places you go for like different objectives. So I think they might do something like that.
I do have a prediction. I think we're gonna see what's next for Star Fox in this direct.
You think that they're gonna do Star Fox as a launch title, considering what happened with the last one?
I do, because Miyamoto loves Star Fox.
Honestly, I kind of hope they like pull a Pikmin for Star Fox and try to make it a thing again. If they do bring it back, because I mean, if they go this like in a really safe direction for Star Fox again and try to just do yet another Star Fox 64 thing, I really don't think that would take off if they do something like that again.
I just don't. I just
imagine this: Star Fox 1, and it uses a combination of mouse controls and motion controls. And it's a reboot of Star Fox 64. Now, Nick2751, currently we have 3 people in the stream, and if it gets to be any more than that, it gets chaotic. But if anyone leaves the stream, you're more than welcome to join. Though definitely I want to stream with you more often.
Yeah.
I do like if they do bring back Star Fox, I think gameplay changes need to happen, because I think the gameplay has just stayed stagnant for so long. It's always been like an on-rails shooter, but you have all these great design characters that you can't really see because you're piloting the R-Wing, right? Which is part of the gameplay, but I do wish that there were instances where you're actually controlling the characters and seeing them.
Or maybe have a compromise and have the ships designed to be open a little bit so you can see the characters. But in terms of like Star Fox...
I was also thinking, what if they did a sequel? I mean, it would be made by a different developer, but imagine a sequel to Star Fox Adventures.
Oh, that would be cool.
My heart always melts for this cat right here. The poor thing has lost her kittens. Here's the question.
What were you saying, Lucy?
No, the thing is, with Bowser's Fury, a lot of people are like, how can you even top Super Smash Bros. Ultimate for the next Smash? But in terms of 3D Mario, how are you able to even top the cat theme? Is that even possible?
Oh, please. Dogs.
Dogs. They need dogs.
Oh no, I could just imagine Apollo in 3D Mario.
This is what I'm saying. The next 3D Mario will have Mario as a terrier.
I think a Shibu Inu would be, or I think that's how you pronounce it. That would be more likely, especially considering that Dog Mario thing at the New Year's 2019 event.
I don't necessarily think.
Hey, before we go on, I see Rob. I see Rob in the chat, and he's asking when's the next collab with the Gaming Otter, and I'm thinking, Rob, I want to collab with you. So get on over to the channel for a collaboration of Demich and Roboto Ya. Alright.
What were you saying, Reese?
I was gonna say, if they had multiple playable characters, they could have each character have be based on a different dog breed.
Oh my god, I would love that.
Dalmatian Luigi.
Oh my god. And you know what'd be funny? Instead of a cat suit, they transform into dog versions of themselves.
Like Elephant Mario. That would be pretty cool.
Here's
and
the
reason I say
question
terriers is because terriers look like they have mustaches.
I'm actually going to start a poll because this is a really good poll to do. And it's, what designs do you prefer for Mario power-ups? Alright. What
do you mean?
I mean, everyone knows this is a Mario stream, so I'm just going to put, what power-up design do you prefer?
Well, you know what? Luigi would definitely be a golden retriever. I could definitely see that. It's because you're a dog, Luigi.
There should be a new power-up in the new Mario game that turns you into an uncle.
No.
And then all the uncle would do is just make random sounds like
I like both, to be honest. I think it just depends on the utility of it.
Yeah. I think both designs are good. Really just depends on... I think for elephants, at least, Elephant Mario looks way better than he would in a suit. Cat Mario, though...
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
Definitely looks cuter in the suit.
Also, I had an idea if...
A cat is fluffy and just, it makes sense to have, a little costume, but for an elephant, you're not thinking something fluffy, you're thinking something rough and edgy. Except, Edgy Mario is actually cool, unlike a certain series featuring a blue hedgehog. I do like
also,
I had an idea that turns Mario into a parrot like Petey.
Also, I had another idea. Also, I had another idea for power-ups in a new 3D Mario game. Do you know how Galaxy has an interesting design for the ice flower? When Mario gets it, it actually turns him into ice. Imagine if they do that with. Imagine if they bring that back. But also do a fire flower version of that, where Mario is kind of made out of flames. That would be really cool.
Ooh,
kind of similar to the ice, the ice flower in that.
That'd be really cool to see.
Awesome.
Now, predicting this next 3D Mario, I think most of us are in agreement that what it'll be a game similar to Bowser's Fury in terms of scope and gameplay, but it'll have more kingdoms like Super Mario Odyssey. So, in that sense, it would be similar to what Sonic Frontiers was going for, having a few big open worlds. I think there will definitely be more than 4 of them, though. And with Super Mario, or the next 3D Mario game, just having, I would say, maybe 8 locations the size of Lake Lapcat, that'd be really cool, and it'd give it a bunch of variety, too. Usually, the more the better. Now, here's a really good question. Do you think that the next 3D Mario game will have kingdoms that are designated to only be boss arenas? That was one thing about Super Mario Odyssey I was not a fan of. You had some really cool ideas, especially the Ruined Kingdom, only for them to be used just for boss fights. I don't think they're going to bring that back.
I don't think they're going to bring that back either. I think... Yeah, if they're going to be much bigger this time, I think that's much less likely that will be the case. Because I think the thing is, with those smaller boss arena kingdoms, I think that was kind of a similar thing, how Mario 64 had the more linear levels for the Bowser stages, I think that was kind of like their idea there in Odyssey. So I don't. If they're going for like a more open style, I don't think they're gonna bring that back.
Speaking of open and
Yeah, I
linear,
agree.
does anyone think that there's a possibility that this next 3D Mario game is going to be linear? Because it seems the direction of gaming recently, and by recent I mean within the last decade, things have just become more open, or the grander the better. Although, I will say, we should actually have nicknames for open world and linear 3D Mario. Instead of linear, we should just call it Linny.
Linear in terms of Galaxy, I could see
Yeah.
returning, but linear in terms of 3D world,
Yeah.
I don't see returning.
I think
I
it's going to be
honestly do
open.
think I do think there's a chance that there could be a Galaxy sometime down the line, but I do think it's going to be open, like everyone else is saying.
In an ideal world, they'd have 3 kinds of Mario platformers. 2D platformers like Super Mario Bros. Wonder, 2.5D platformers like Super Mario 3D World, and then full-on open world. There's definitely a place for 3D World-esque games.
Linny line sauce.
Actually, when I was
feel like at
talking
that
about
point, I'll
Linny,
just post
I was
it
talking
in
about Linny from Wonder Pets, because T&D was actually in an episode of Wonder Pets where
Oh,
he voiced
yeah.
the Snow Owl.
I remember that show. I used to watch that.
Didn't we all?
I
If
was
we were
not
the Wonder Pets, who would be
Show.
who?
It's not the story.
I have a feeling
be
that
nobody.
T&D would be Linny, Reese would be Tuck, and I would have to be Ming Ming, because unfortunately, I got no other position.
I think you'd be nobody.
I mean, that's fitting because my brother had a Tuck costume he wore for Halloween, like many years ago.
Of course there's some deep-cut memory with that associated with it. Only you. Weird stuff happens to T&D, but usually only because of me. Like the Bloonies thing. But for you, I mean, your life is pretty much like a 2000s time capsule with all the memories and stories you bring up.
What I do remember is Reese's fondness for Zula Patrol. Oh yeah, yeah. That
Never
the
have
mul-
to
the-
knock on wood.
Molto moment or whatever it was called.
I actually thought that when you made the Pokemon Legends Zaza meme, I thought it was Pokemon Legends Zula Patrol. But no, you meant Zaza as in Zaza. I didn't know what Zaza was at the time.
Oh,
I'm actually
You guys-
surprised that you didn't know what it was.
Yeah, me too.
do you guys think this will finally be the era where we finally get a new Yoshi game, but it's actually his first 3D game?
It could happen. Here's the thing, I don't think Yoshi's a priority when it comes to Nintendo series. Although, it was just the 6th anniversary of Yoshi's Crafted World. Actually, you know what I'm thinking?
Oh,
I'm thinking maybe we should have Nick part of the stream. He'd definitely have some good input.
Yeah,
Yeah, let's have him.
yeah. I think sometimes like 4 people like is fine. Like if it doesn't get like, because I don't think like the 4 of us are like too crazy.
I mean,
I
how
mean, the
often
beach
is
is
it that we're
pretty
going to
crazy,
predict a new 3D Mario game? Not too
Yeah.
often. So yeah, let's just add him. And
I
plus,
am
he's
gonna
got...
go soon in like 5 minutes.
Reese, you got some competition for that golden voice if we have Nick. That's my only warning to you.
Yeah.
T&D has a good voice too, especially when he's explaining what bloonies are. It's plastic that you put in a straw and put in your mouth to make a bubble. That's so stupid. The way you said it was so funny.
It is stupid.
All right, is Antonio
Hey.
Banderas in the chat?
Hey, man.
Hello, everyone.
That voice.
Hello, hello.
It is chocolate to the ears.
Cookie Von Koopa.
Luigi.
Woof.
Yoshi
I think
is
the last
definitely
time
one-
I've talked to you on voice chat was. I think the last time I've talked to you on voice chat was on the Sticker Star stream. One of my Sticker Star streams, I believe.
Oh, yeah. I think it might have been back when I was still in Colombia. I think I remember, because you were still doing it. Was this, yeah, during the 1,000-Year Door announcement, I think?
You know, every
Yeah,
time
since
I talk
I
to
made
you,
a promise that I had the place sticker star.
every time I talk to you, I
Yeah.
have the sudden urge to go to Colombia myself. I'd be down to go.
Well, every time I talk to you, I have the urge to go to Greece.
I always
Speaking of
want to go to
Greece,
Greece,
I'm-
but yeah, Greece
I
is
was gonna
actually
say,
probably
speaking
going.
of Greece, yeah,
It's funny because my landlord, he's actually Greek as well.
Oh,
Oh,
that is
that's
cool.
funny.
I hope he's a nice landlord.
He is. He's a good guy. He understands us, and he does go to Greece often. So usually we kind of don't run into him for a few months. But hey, maybe one day I'll go there myself.
Do you know what his name is?
His name is Peter. I think that's his English name, as far as I know.
Peter?
Does he go to places called Taste of Punjab?
Wrong uncle.
Deep cut reference. Sorry, I was trying to make Demeach laugh.
I still think the Bloonies thing was funnier.
It's not funny. It's stupid.
But Nick, now that we got you on the stream, what do you think the next 3D Mario is going to be? You think it's going to be something like we discussed it being like Bowser's Fury but with multiple kingdoms? Or you think it's going to be a sequel to
Honestly?
Odyssey? Or is it going to be something linear?
Honestly, I'm kind of up in the air with it because it's like, on the one hand, I do kind of want more of a Sunshine-like game, but with like Bowser's Fury scale and whatever elements they take from Odyssey. But on the other hand, Nintendo and Mario in 3D are always unpredictable after the 2010s. So I don't know where we could go. It could really be anything. Hell, it could be time travel for all I know.
Time travel just seems like the next logical direction to go. Because with Super Mario Galaxy, we got space travel. Then, with Super Mario 3D World, that was more linear. And I do have some interesting thoughts on 3D World, which I'll definitely get into. And then we got world traveling with Super Mario Odyssey. So time travel, it just seems like the next logical step, and it's definitely very grandiose. It's a grand idea for a new 3D Mario game. And considering it's been 8 years, and this is going to be likely the first 4K Nintendo console, time travel would be an excellent way to showcase the capabilities. Because a new 3D Mario game isn't just one of the best things you could ever play. It's also a system showcase. So what better of a way to showcase 4K by having these kingdoms in different time periods, and you can watch them become different kingdoms based on the times.
I also think it could take, the typical, I know typical answer, but could take the Sonic Generations approach where we revisit old areas, but also reimagine them with high-tech new graphics, which, like you said, can tie into showing the Switch 2's capabilities. There is a clear connection you can make there.
It does make sense. That'd be an interesting idea. Considering that is very tied to Sonic Generations, I'm not sure if Nintendo would want to do something similar just for the sake of, oh, he copied me. That is something that Reese gets, and I'm not sure the rest of you do.
I was gonna say, I was more so thinking like maybe we could give really obscure games like the Land series, since they are technically mainline, a chance to like come back in 3D and like show them in like a new vision. Because like Mario Land 1, people like Sarasa Land as an idea, but like,
I mean, look at it. It looks like stick figures.
For it.
What if it's one open like world like Bowser's Fury, but by the press of a button, the entire world changes instantaneously to like the past version of that place or like the future version of that place.
So like Sonic CD,
the best 2D Sonic game.
Sort of, more so.
Or maybe like a Wonder Flower effect.
Not necessarily. I would, because like Sonic CD, there's like a cooldown time, like traveling between like dimensions. But like I was thinking more so like as you're walking and you press the button, the world around you like changes like instantaneously, and you can still move and jump and stuff.
I guess so.
I mean, in terms of 3D Mario, what do you think would not be a good idea for 3D Mario? Like, let's discuss what we don't want to see. Oh, and congratulations on getting the Amber Nick. You're going to have a lot of fun with it.
I was gonna say, if the next 3D Mario game, if they do one that's basically just like the world is basically like this generic New Super Mario Bros. Like sterile style, and it's just like the most generic Mario areas you can imagine. Just like they're just like, ooh, the classic Mario locations in 4K. Like, you know, the generic Mario stock art you always
So
like
retro
see everywhere.
or the renders?
Like,
Oh.
imagine if that, but like that's like the next 3D Mario. That's like the worst scenario, I would say, for a new 3D Mario.
So you mean like if they took that one stage from Brawl and made it the entire game's identity?
When it comes to the Sonic
or if
CD
you-
review, there was a certain part of it where I was going to use a car that involves time travel, but unfortunately, due to some hurricane damage, I'm not sure if that'll work. So at this point, it is on an indefinite hiatus, but at some point, I do want to review it.
Well, on that note, I am going to head to bed. So,
What
it was
time is it?
lovely
The night's
talking with
still
you,
young.
gentlemen. For you, I need to rest.
Actually, this actually means that he's going to be playing with the Bloonies that I got him.
No, I threw that out in the trash. It's wrapped in my dog knee pad.
Hey, Demeech, how is Florida?
Anyways,
It's actually been nice this year. It's actually been not too hot, not too cold, just right.
I mean,
Well,
it did
we see
snow in
Nick-
Florida, so.
oh, that's true too.
Have a good night,
We see
TD.
Nick. It's
Glad
always
you could
great.
join.
It's always great. It's always great hearing from you guys, and let's hope that something great happens with 3D Mario on Wednesday.
Yeah, I hope so too. It was nice
Yeah.
talking to you again, Ty.
Likewise, man. Likewise. Take care.
All right,
Okay,
we only
we'll
got a
speak
few
again
more days
soon,
till the
alright? Good night.
direct. Cullen
Yeah.
says, honestly, I
Also-
don't want any sequels. No Sunshine 2, Galaxy 3, Odyssey 2. Mario Wonder is my favorite Mario platformer because it's so fresh. I definitely want something new too, something to give the Switch 2 its own identity. It is very likely we're going to
agree.
get that.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, the thing is, though, I actually wouldn't mind a Sunshine 2. I've been thinking about that one as well. Like, just imagine Sunshine, but with, like, completely new areas with similar mechanics, but obviously more polished mechanics, in, like, a
What's funny
Bowser's
is that
Fury style area.
I did ask earlier, has anyone played Super Mario Eclipse? Because that is like basically everything I wanted out of what you just said.
Actually, yes, I've played a little bit of it.
Yeah, I've been meaning to play it because it looks really good.
It's
It
pretty
was
much
amazing. I didn't play it, but I saw one of my favorite Pikmin streamers. He played Eclipse like last year. I saw that whole game from beginning to end. It was amazing what they did, and their time, those dev teams, they did an amazing job with Eclipse. And I think it's like the ideal Sunshine. It adds like everything that was initially planned for the game, however they interpreted it, and just brought it tenfold. It was beautiful, I tell you. And yes, it had Thousand Year Door reference, so therefore it is peak.
Well,
yeah,
I'm
Mario
definitely
Eclipse,
gonna play it now.
That's what it is essentially. Is it's not a sequel to Sunshine. It's kind of like half and half, where it fixes the game and also adds in new locations. Did they get rid of the blue coins, or did they just add a counter for them?
I think they straight up like reincorporated them. I think either the blue coins did something else, or they did get you extra shines that were for like 100% purpose. But I think they did fix like the counter and keeping track of it. So it was objectively better regardless how it was handled.
I don't have a problem with the blue coins. I just have a problem that you can't track them. It'd be
Yeah,
like
this
if you
was
couldn't
before,
track
like,
the amount
the
of power
Odyssey
moons when you got
system.
an Odyssey.
Yeah, pretty much.
Now, in terms of a Mario Sunshine 2, I'd definitely be down for it. But in terms of releasing it as the premier 3D Mario game on the Switch 2, that would be, get ready for it, a poorly timed Nintendo game. That would not
Did you
be a
see
good
that,
idea.
that video?
Yeah. I think like the only way I was gonna say the only way that they could do it is if they give it like a subtitle or like a different subtitle than Sunshine, like call it something else. but still the sequel would kind of be there in essence.
I feel with
Personally,
3D Mario,
I think
I
I've
mean,
changed
you
my
look at
mind on
something
it.
like Super Mario Odyssey, and that incorporates elements from all the 3D Mario games, and it's not a sequel to anything, it's just a successor.
It's just the next in line of the 3D platformers.
Yeah,
It's like the whole the 2D titles. Like, for example, like people say, oh, sometimes jokingly, why didn't they make a Mario 4? But like, we all know World is Mario 4, and the land games, regardless of being their own series, they're just the handheld equivalents to that. So I don't really think we need to get super nitty gritty with like titles and whatnot. Like, just because it's called Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island doesn't necessarily mean we're gonna take it literally as the next big Super Mario game.
same goes
it
for
was the
Mario
first
Kart
Yoshi
Tour
game.
being
We all know.
mainline.
Exactly. I think we have to learn to separate what's meant to be interpreted literally and what's meant to not be taken at face value.
It's clear that a game like Yoshi's Island was only called Super Mario World 2 because it was a new series, and they wanted to kickstart it. Very similar to what they did with Wario Land, where they called the first one Super Mario Land 3, but then the next one, it was Virtual Boy Wario Land with no Mario subtitle whatsoever.
I feel like people forget that video games, at the end of the day, they do still have, if they have characters and whatnot, they have story. Like, if you were to view the Mario Land trilogy as like a movie series or like some sort of TV specials, the story would still kind of be the same, where you see the shift between Mario as the protagonist and then Wario becomes the protagonist. As I interpret it, Wario didn't steal Mario's castle, but he stole the Land series, which was in the end his greatest treasure.
That was his greatest achievement.
Exactly.
Now, in terms
Yeah.
of
And
Wario
even-
Land,
Yeah,
and
as I
in
was
fact,
saying
Wario,
that, go ahead. Go first.
I was gonna say Wario Land became so good with Wario Land 4 that I actually like Wario Land 4 better than most 2D Mario games. I would say most, but like not all of them. But Wario Land 4 is definitely up there as one of my favorite games of all time.
it's
I'll get to it
interesting
eventually.
because until Wonder, pretty much every 2D platformer was better than Mario.
Hell, even I'm starting to like think, man, DK94 was such a good game, man. It was so good.
Alright, the stream has been going on for about an hour and 7 minutes, so we're gonna wrap things up fairly soon. You think they'll call the Yoshi movie the subtitle of Mario Movie 3 or 4? They're probably gonna just do more Mario movies. I couldn't see them just doing a movie based on Yoshi. Like, sure, Yoshi has his own series, but that works for games. I'm not sure how well it would work for movies.
I feel like that's something I don't really think would ever happen. Like, I know we heard the DK Country movie or the Luigi's Mansion movie, but like, I think those are just ideas. I don't think we're ever gonna see that.
Luigi's
best,
Mansion,
maybe
that
some,
would
like,
make more
short
sense.
animated-
Same with Donkey
I think maybe
Kong,
at
but
best
Yoshi?
supplementary material. Like, I don't know, maybe they could make them like little TV specials and whatnot for holidays or whatever, but I don't see them becoming like
A very
big
Yoshi
movies, 'cause
Thanksgiving?
Movies take a long.
That's a great idea right there.
I feel like that's another thing people need to accept more. Is that not everything needs to be a movie. Not everything needs to be the next cinematic masterpiece. We can have softer, more supplemental material here and there for the smaller screen, It makes you appreciate the bigger stuff more, and that the teams focus more on that. That's why I appreciate, like the 3DS up until the Switch. They still had the smaller games here and there, and I know the remakes for like Mario and Luigi were not good in the long run, but I appreciated that the 3DS still had something to offer.
Oh, I mean, they're
and
great
not waste
games. The only
resources
problem is
for
just the
next
release timing.
Yeah, exactly. But I like the idea in concept.
You've seen the Switch do that, bring back series that are smaller, and it's good to have those titles. Not only do they add more variety, and they're great series, but also they probably take less development time, and also don't cost as much to make. So seeing something like Rhythm Heaven, along with a new 3D Mario game, it definitely has a place. But in terms of movies, where, pretty much everything would need to be a blockbuster if it's a full-on movie, they would really only save those for the big series. Donkey Kong Country could definitely become that. Luigi's Mansion, I feel that could become at that point. But in the current state that Yoshi is in, it just seems like a cool idea, but it doesn't seem like something that would actually be a movie.
Yeah, I think that's just something we need to appreciate more is the little stuff, you know. Not everything has to be the next major groundbreaking revolution. We can appreciate the smaller things on the side, and you know, they're for holding us over until the next big project, you know. Especially with life nowadays, you know, I got work, I got a bunch of stuff to do. I can't even hang out with like my friends that much. So I appreciate, you know, the smaller games. Like I always come back to the Pikmin series because it doesn't take me that long to like beat the main games. I can just enjoy them, beat my record again, and just enjoy it, you know, and wait for the next big game.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
Yeah.
I tend to think about the games
Exactly.
that I've played the most, and most of them, it's like smaller stuff. At least recently. Like, whenever there's a new 3D Mario or Mario Kart, that's going to take my attention. But still, the Pikmin series is one of my favorites. Now, we could keep this going for another 15 minutes, so if we can get another Super Chat, I'll definitely do that. But in the meantime, after this final Bowser Bell, we're going to wrap things up for tonight, because I got videos to work on. This is the busiest time to be a Nintendo YouTuber. It's insane. And that Nintendo Direct last week was definitely the cherry on the cake.
It's been crazy, like, that we're getting, like, we got the one Direct, and then now we're getting, like, the big one. It's just crazy. Like, it seems like we haven't, like, gotten this much in so long. It's kind of weird.
It's very weird. It's a very strange thing. Super Chat goal will be before beating Fury Bowser. So, at that point, this is where we're going to end the stream after we beat him. But I will keep it going for 15 minutes more. If we get a Super Chat, doesn't matter if it's like teal or anything. And it'll help me get Xenoblade.
Yeah.
I was also going to say that there's a bit of a problem, I feel, with like modern games nowadays where they pack so much content. And whilst that sounds great on the surface, I don't appreciate it when it starts to become like very grindy. And I'm like, you know, I kind of miss when games were a little less overly stuffed. You know, like, don't get me wrong. I want as much content in my $60 game as possible, like just as much as the next guy. But at the same time, I'm older now. I can't dedicate as much time to playing games as I used to. So, like, I feel like I just have to save so much progress and be like, oh, man, I sure hope I don't screw this up in the game and have to do all this again for, like, these bunch of fetch quests or whatever. You know, it starts to get overwhelming, especially when there's more games. And I'm like, dude, I haven't even 100%ed some games from, like, 2020. I still haven't even beaten past, like, the second world of Origami King.
Here's the thing. I understand where you're coming from. It just is a matter of if the content is just filler or if it's something like, you know, something actually worthwhile. I would say filler content would be like in Super Mario Run trying to get the red Yoshi. You need to get some absurd amount of toads. That's absolutely filler content right there, and I'm never going to do it. But in terms of all the Power Moons, I'm okay with stuff like that. And Captain Toad, there's a lot of missions to do to 100% the game. I'm cool with that too. As long as the content's fun, I don't see an issue with it. I do think that it's better for a game to be too long than too short. There are games like Mario Wonder that I definitely wish were longer. But I probably will have to include previews from the thumbnail. So what I would suggest doing is, so you don't get spoiled on anything, this is what I've done with Nintendo Directs before. And this applies to anyone in the chat too. So what you can do is just copy the link to the presentation itself, put that in notes. When you're ready to watch it, just click on the link. Don't look at anything else. Mute notifications. You're good to go.
By the way, did I ever tell anyone I did actually 100% Color Splash?
You 100%ed Color Splash?
Oh, wow.
Was it good?
I actually did. I think I did it just before the pandemic started. I think it was like, during like my freshman to sophomore year, I beat Color Splash on the side.
I did get Color Splash back in it was 2019 when they were phasing out Wii U games at Walmart. I got it for like $23. I have yet to beat the game, but also I was getting impatient with it. That's a game I definitely might go back to at some point. Sticker Star.
With Color Splash is actually the only Paper Mario game that I haven't beaten. Yeah, I know I'm a fake fan. I haven't beaten all the Paper Mario games, but I mean I've 100%ed 64 and Thousand Year Door. And I've played like I played the first 3 games multiple times. Even Origami King I've played twice. But it's like, and then I've beaten Sticker Star like right before the Thousand Year Door remake came out, but I still haven't fully beaten Color Splash yet. I really need to get around to doing that.
I don't blame you. I did kind of have to like persevere through it, but I got through it. And maybe one day I'll make a review about Color Splash just because I can say I 100%ed it and I can give a full opinion on it. And mind you, I got the game in like 2016 launch day, and it took me like 4 years to finally beat it. So
isn't that the life of a gamer? You get a bunch of games and you never 100% them until you do. But anyways, guys, that about wraps up the stream. Got a very exciting week coming up, so we'll definitely be doing more of these streams. Next stream will be about the feature showcase game for the Switch 2. We're going to be predicting that. Something along the lines of Wii Sports or Nintendo Land. And yeah, you guys have a wonderful night. And as always, thanks to Nick2751 and Reese for joining, and T&D. And keep calm and da-da.